Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to my fan commentary on episode 21 of Power Rangers Time Force Lovestruck Rangers, to coincide with today being Valentine's Day. So I figured, based on the high amount of demands and votes, Lovestruck Rangers it is. Out of all episodes of Time Force, this is perhaps one of my many guilty pleasure episodes from the season, up there with, pretty much this episode, Movie Madness. Well, even though Movie Madness is a fun romp, I'm going to get to that episode eventually, and one other episode of Time Force that I found funny. But when it came to this episode, I remember this episode aired during the summer of 2001. This episode, when I remember it, when it aired, it was like somewhat out of order, I believe, or this was actually in the proper order. But in some reruns, this episode will be before Last Race. Common sense with Angelique, the mutant doing the mutant Contemptor in disguise. Angelique knows how to, we see her. I thought this was going to be another episode about Lucas, but then I find out this episode was about the three Ranger guys being under her love spell with that bracelet that looks like a snake around her wrist. And not only that, this episode was based on completely from Time Rangers' early episode with what was Contemptor's counterpart being Pink Temptation, because this episode was really more about the Pink Ranger, Time Pink. And while in the actual episode of Time Ranger, it was a Yuri episode, and because the male civilian of that episode had lost his wife, and he had someone to take over, have some lady take over his deceased wife's stead, since his wife was deceased. And Yuri had to do this housemaid duty and stuff, part of the odd jobs in the Sentai. Also in the Sentai, it was about the red, Time Blue, and Time Yellow, because now Yellow, given that Katie's a girl in Power Rangers, so having an LGBT way of doing that back in 2001 with this was a definite no-no. So it made sense to put Trip in the stead of what the Yellow Ranger in Time Ranger was going through when Dolman, Tatsua, and Isa was under the love spell by what was Contemptor's counterpart. So I can see why they did this episode totally different for Power Rangers. But again, I've seen the Power Rangers version of this episode first and foremost. But I didn't see the Sentai of Time Force until all these years later. This RC robot that Angelique has to distract Trip, that's actually Time Robota, also from Time Ranger. So that's at least one of the few unused props that they vaguely ever used from the Sentai being in this show. So it goes like this: when we see Angelique, when she I can't help but crush on her, but right now, but Angelique, when she met Lucas, she looked like one of those hot chicks who rides these fast Ferraris and stuff. When she sees Trip, she's a geek. When she sees Wes, she's one of those rich girls who plays tennis. I don't know, because rich people in tennis, I guess. And when she morphs into Contemptra, we start hearing a familiar voice. Oh, great. Another episode where Lucas abuses hair gel. Again. Is your hair a lot spiky and gelled up enough, man? I understand to impress ladies, but come on. Yeah, and like I've been saying before, you know, with that box of heart-shaped chocolates, like, again, Power Rangers barely ever does any Valentine's Day episodes, so that's why I have to do this episode on occasion, because just for this occasion. But again, this episode, when it initially aired in 2001, it was around the summer, but it felt a little too late to be in time for Valentine's Day, because at that time, it would like poorly do bad to the flow of the season. So it made sense to put this in the batch of all those goofy romp filler episodes before we get back to more serious centric stories for the season. I think comments. Well, and you know, Angelique was not going to get Eric, because also the episode story they based this on was based on an earlier Time Ranger episode before Naoto Timefire actually made his debut. Because in Time Ranger, Naoto appeared much later, him and the City Guardians, Silver Guardians here, because Naoto was like in the late 20s, early 30s of the series in Sentai. But Eric was already introduced earlier on, like 17 episodes in, so it wouldn't make sense for Angelique to get Eric, because he would not find her all that amusing. So only the 3 Ranger guys of the core group she would get the attention of. And also, whenever I see the actress playing Angelique, I'm sorry I forgot her name, but anytime I look at Angelique's actress, I'm thinking, you know, it would have been nice if they got Hilary Shepard, who played Divatox, again, but nah, I guess she would be too old to be doing that kind of stuff. But okay, then you have to do the Cupid stuff in the ass. Really? Come on, man. And knowing to the fact that we also later on get the huge, heavily explored reveal that Wes has feelings for Jen, and even though Jen basically, well, given what we learn about her entire character the whole season, knowing she probably already forgot about Alex at this point. I don't know if this whole entire episode is an improvement over the original Time Ranger episode this is based on, because yeah, you do have two of the Ranger. You got the two Ranger girls. You know, they're fine in Danny seeing the guys dating a girl, but when they find out it's the same girl, and even though Jen knows who it is, because you can tell in her body language that it's the same chick, because she even I bet you in the year 3000 when they captured all those mutants and stuff in the future, Katemtra probably had some grudge with Jen, and it's never really fully explained in the actual series episode, I mean. Oh boy. You know, one of the things I always found funny about this episode, all 3 of the guys come up to Angelique with the same pair of flowers and the same things of chocolates. She knew what she was doing, trying to get all these guys to fall for her. And then Trip is being a bit slick, and now you got Wes and Lucas fussing over, like, what the heck, man? Get the... Yeah, I knew he should never did that. Now, a little bit of this episode was edited minorly because of 9/11. So all we have is like random stock explosions in this edit of the episodes, because again, we don't have the original pre 9/11 cuts for some of these episodes. In the original edit of the episode, there was probably some building explosions that had to be cut. So they decided to just replace it with the random stock explosions the random explosion shots that we had earlier. Because again, this is like post 9/11 for the earlier episodes before Undercover Rangers, because due to 9/11. It's like she's up for a Ranger foursome or something. I mean threesome, sorry, because like, come on, man. Yeah, you're busy messing around with this girl, fighting over her, like winning her affection, It's driving me nuts. Oh yeah, Ransick's battle with the pink and yellow Rangers. Ooh, girl power. I'm so scared. Shouldn't be. Even though it's just only the Ranger girls you have to deal with. You know, I know you can't have a different Time Ranger monster to cover up for him and all, but Ransik and Nadir was just out destroying a bit of the city. I don't know. I guess this is an improvement over what we didn't have in Time Ranger, but, like, come on, man. Like, you know, him just fighting the girls and, yeah, this ain't enough. But knowing this is just a coy distraction while Contemptra is messing around with red, green, and blue while he's doing this. But he thinks that, okay, dealing with only two of the Rangers, that being girls, you know, think it would be an easy way, but no. Well, there goes the serum. Alright, this is the part that also gets me too. Like, whenever I see this episode with Jen fussing with the guys and wondering where the heck were they, but then only they find out that they should have never even put up with Angelique when they had Ranger duties to fill. And knowing when Ransik was attacking, they didn't even do anything about it because, again, they were still distracted by this girl. I don't care how attractive she may be. Ranger duties and odd jobs come first. Common sense, Lucas and Trip listen, but Wes, you're just being a sneaky bastard. Like, yeah, I'm gonna see her. I don't care what she says. Yeah, well, consequences are gonna come later, buddy. Seems like anytime I see Ransik drink these vials of serum, they just look like blue Kool-Aid or Gatorade or something. I don't know. Man, I miss landline phones. Actually, I don't miss it that much, since we got smartphones and stuff now. You know, it just makes me wonder, did Jen have some sort of a grievance with Contemptra back in the future when she was rounding up whatever mutants back in the year 3000 where her and the other Rangers came from in the future? Because, again, I've seen Time Ranger and I saw the episode that was about Yuri and what was Contemptra's counterpart, and I forgot her name. She must have had some grievance because even with the dialogue when she said, I knew I didn't like her. Because she must have dealt with Contemptra at one point in the future. You know, in the events before the season even started. She might have. But it's never been fully explained enough. What is wrong with you? How is that great and then you change your mind and say it's horrible? Why would you think that was a good idea for her to put a love spell on, okay, your boyfriend? Sorry. It's just, I don't understand. How is that great? That makes no sense. Something about her gives me Abigail Spencer vibes all of a sudden. And here we go, at the park that they always used for Angel Grove Park back in Mighty Morphin, but it's Silver Hills Park or something. Oh, them red eyes. Yeah, this is when we go full-blown goofy with this boys fighting over a girl fight. It's one of the most funniest moments in Ranger history. It's probably one of the most unprecedented, overlooked moments, because Time Force does have some good episodes and some bad ones. I mean, this episode is both a good and bad episode, but you know what? It's glorious. And then you see these guys fighting over like, no, she's mine. No, she's mine. She's mine. But she ain't, none of y'all don't own her as such. All right? Y'all should have known she was evil. The bracelet made y'all fall for her. I don't even know where West stabbed his sword at near Trip. Was it by his shin or his... I don't want to know. Yeah, Kendricks herself did the voice of Contemptra. So, Kendricks still lives. It's no question that, you know, thinking about some of the monsters in Time Force that we had, because although I already did a commentary on Quantum Secrets last year, talking about how, or was it 2 years ago, where Sean C.W. Johnson, Carter Grayson himself, did the voice of Comwing, whereas Valerie Vernon, who was Kendrick's Morgan, Lost Galaxy Pink, doing the voice of Contemptra. Because coincidentally, if Valerie did our favorite Pink Ranger, from, you know, the one who died for our sins in a Power Ranger season, and then 2 seasons later she's doing the voice of a monster for 1 episode whose costume and all is pink. Right in the mutant tits, especially pink ones this time. Although in the original Time Ranger episode, well, when I talk a little bit about it, but like when I was watching the original Time Ranger episode, before the fight with Contemptra and her counterpart in her mutant state, I've noticed how, what, you know, if you haven't seen it, but little spoilers though, when Ayase, Tatsuya, and Dolman was still under the love spell, Yuri comes out looking all glamorously hot in that glittery silver dress and the lipstick and all, and then also what's so goofy about it was how the male Rangers fell for Yuri's one-time beauty moment to break them out of the love spell. But even though Jen, in some of these episodes, you know, these summer episodes of the season, ever since Trip takes a stand up until Frax's Fury, she was wearing red lipstick for these batch of episodes. And knowing Jen was already hot. Yeah, and this was Valerie Vernon's second and final role in Power Rangers until she retired from acting sometime in the mid-2000s. It was great having her around on the show while it lasted, though. Well, that's it for Contemptra. Now your grievance against her is over. Now we get to and I see. Now we get to this moment where they should have almost, and this is what got me every time rewatching the season and when I get to this episode, especially for the latter half of the series. And that's what I was saying. It was like she had something personal with Contemptra. Even if she was just another mutant, though, but it seemed that like she kind of did had a grievance with her back in the future when she was rounding up other mutants. Yeah, this gets a little awkward. And then One of the other moments once we get to the end of this episode is that once they do get together again, Wes and Jen had a really fleshed out love story that almost could have been, because again, given her feelings, and this part where they were about to kiss. See, once again, I understand Power Rangers is a boy show, and all the boy toy thing, can't have no romances on something to aim toward boys. They almost did it. They just almost did it, and even back in the finale. So yeah, folks, that was Lovestruck Rangers. It was my kind of stupid Valentine's Day episode of Power Rangers.